Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. Today we will explore how to read the JSON file from the staging location and create a table using the Snowpark API. So we will go ahead and discuss how to read the JSON file using the Snowpark read function and how to go ahead and flatten the JSON file. We will also see how to query the history using the web UI. So let's jump into PyCharm where I am using the Python version 3.8.16. Okay, so to read the JSON file, first of all, we will be importing some modules. Then we will be setting up the configuration with the help of the configuration file. And then we will be creating a session out of it. If you don't know how to go ahead and create a session using the help of the configuration parameters, please go ahead and watch my previous video in which I have showed you how to exactly set up the Snowpark and how to create a session out of it. So let's go ahead and read the JSON file, that is books1.json. So let me show you how this JSON file looks. It is having an ID, a category, what is the name of the book, what is the author, what is the sequence number of that book. Let's say Harry Potter is the book name. The sequence of this Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is having the sequence ID as 6. And what is the genre of this book, which is fantasy, and whether it is in stock or not, what is the price of it, and what all pages are having in this particular book. So let me show you the same particular book in my staging table. So I will go ahead and list all the files that are present in my internal stage. So you see here, there's a book1.json which is present inside the JSON folder, which we will go ahead and pass and save it inside a table. So with the help of the read module and the JSON function, we will go ahead and read this particular file that is present inside my stage. So I have this book data frame. I will go ahead and read the schema of this particular book data frame and see what schema it is printing. So now you see it is having a schema object of struct type. Okay. So let me see how many fields are present in this particular book data frame now. It has only one column in the book data frame. If you will see the JSON file, this is a complete one record that we have. Records is actually saved inside one particular column. So it is only having one field that is having the one column itself. So let me display you the data frame itself. So you see the complete data frame is now loaded inside this particular column, which is $1 with all the records. This is my first record, this is my second record, and so on. So all of them are loaded inside the column 1 with $1 as the name. So now let's say if I want to go ahead and select this particular column using the select function itself, right? Then you might be thinking that I can go ahead and do a book df.select and select the $1 with the author and then the show command. But if I go ahead and execute this, you will see it will throw me an error. Why exactly it's throwing me an error? It is because it has an invalid identifier that is $1 underscore author. So it means you will not be able to select the particular column as usual as you do it in the SQL command. So if you have any kind of a manipulation, then you need to use a select expression where you can go ahead and do some transformation and select that particular column out of it. So let me execute this and see what happens. I'm executing the author df and show. You see all the author is present now inside this particular column with the author names listed. So this is how exactly you have to select any particular field out of that particular column in a data frame. Now, let me go ahead and save this particular data frame into a table. So for that, we have a write module. Inside that write module, we have different modes. Okay. So different modes you can go ahead and select. It could be an override, it could be an append, it could be error if exist, or it could be ignore. So overwrite means it will truncate the data and reload the complete data. If you are mentioning the mode as append, it means it will just go ahead and insert the data at the end of the table. If you are doing an error if exists, if there's any error, it will throw you an error and it will not load the data. If you are mentioning it as an ignore, it is going to throw an exception. However, it will ignore that and load the other particular record. So with the help of that mode override, we are saving the table in the book JSON table. Okay, so let me execute this particular command. Now, if I want to go ahead and query the book JSON with only 10 records, then I can use the session.sql. Inside the SQL command, inside the quotation, you can mention any select query. And then you can mention the show command so that it will display you the record. So you see now everything is recorded inside the book JSON particular table, because I have executed this particular statement and all the data is present now. If you want to see the same thing inside your worksheet of SQL, you go back to your worksheet, you execute this statement, and it will show you the result. You see the $1 is the column name with all the 7 records that are present inside it. Now, let's say you have every record is inside this particular column. However, you want to flatten this particular one record into multiple columns. So for example, you want a column named author, second column as category, then genre, ID, in stock, and so on. So now, in order to flatten the particular JSON file into separate columns, you can go ahead and save this particular JSON file into a temporary table. So I'm using the same function called write with a mode of override and with the help of save as table. With the table name, I'm mentioning book JSON01 and the type of the table as temporary. So I will be saving this into a temporary table now. Once I have this particular temporary table, from this temporary table, I will go ahead and select all my columns and give me the result. So for that, I will be using the simple syntax of SQL that Snowpark provides. So the column name is $1. From the $1, I want to pass author. The format or the data type is the text, and I'm renaming this column as author. If I don't rename the column, it will give me the complete column name as $1 author text, which I don't want, right? So I've renamed it as author. Similarly, the next column is having the column name as $1. Then we have the column field as the category and the format as text. So if you will see, all of them are text here, but for example, you have the page numbers, right? Which can be an integer. So I've mentioned it as an integer after the 2 semicolons, right? This is the syntax how you write it in the Snowpark if you want to go ahead and pass the JSON file. So this flattened df, once I go ahead and flatten this particular df, it will go ahead and show me each column separately. So let me show that to you. It is having this flattened df with all the column lists, right? The author, the category, genre, ID. So right now it is not inside one column, but inside different columns. So let us see what happens in the query history in the Snowflake site using the web UI. So it created a temporary file format first, which is JSON. Using that, it has selected the particular data from the JSON file using the file format JSON that has been mentioned, and then it will drop that particular file format. And all these things happened with the help of the Snowpark itself. So here you see we created the particular table called book JSON with the help of the JSON file format, and then we dropped the particular file format. And we selected the particular book JSON table with limit class 10. If you see here, there's a Go 1.1.5 as a client driver. It means that this SQL text runs directly on the worksheet, and the rest are using the Python Spark 1.5. So let's conclude the session here, where we have seen basically how to read the JSON file and save it into a target table, and how to go ahead and flatten that particular JSON file into different columns and read that particular flattened JSON file. I will come up with more such videos on Snowflake and PySpark. If you like my video, then hit the thumbs up and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.